For the first time, we're going off-continent to primarily explore the final tribes of the grid, starting with the Hivewings. I'm gonna be honest, I have the least amount of experience with drawing these tribes, but hey, I endured drawing 73 dragons so far, so what's another 27? Haha. Anyways, Hivewings are kind of a strange tribe in my opinion. Not only are they all basically the descendants of a single Nightwing from thousands of years ago, but they also seem to biologically carry every and any toxin known to man, in the form of stingers, claws, stingers, and smelly gas. Although I don't think that one is particularly toxic. I decided to pick a somewhat simple theme for this tribe, but one so unexpected and mind-blowing that none of you will ever believe it. It's gonna cause quite a buzz. It's something even Hive never considered. It's full of plenty potential. It starts with a B, and I guess it's just B. Okay, I might be a little too basic for this one, but hear me out. I won't just be using bees, but I'll be using other bee-like insects, mainly wasps and wasps. I've been doing a little bit of research into various different bees and wasps for my own personal projects, and I think there are enough different bees and bee-looking insects out there to use as inspiration for these designs. So with that said, on to the speed paint. Starting with the Leafwing, I simply picked out the leafcutter bee for their inspiration. They just look like a normal honeybee to be honest, but I picked this reference that had green eyes, so it instantly made it all better not really. The eyes were drawn to be larger and the snout was kind of blunt to match the bee a little. I also gave them a leaf-shaped horn in the middle of their head and divots in both this and their horns to mimic bug-eaten leaves. The Silkwing was based on an orchid bee because of their bright and metallic multicolored colors. Their snout was also somewhat short and blunt, which will be a running trend by the way, and I made their eyebrows swoop back a bit to mimic the shape of the bee's eyes. This hybrid was also given dual horns on their forehead to kind of replace the Silkwing antenna that could have been there. I chose this funny bee called the broad-handed carpenter bee for the Nightwing. It influenced the design's large eyes based on the bee's eyes, and the thin eyebrows based on the antenna. I also made the horns very thick to mimic the bee's very wide body. The Rainwing was based on the emerald wasp or cuckoo wasp. For this hybrid, I wanted to make them look very dangerous because I can just assume that hivewing poison mixed with rainwing venom can only be a recipe for disaster. I gave this guy long jagged horns and a face that narrows at the snout. This Icewing design was based on the bald-faced hornet, and it was a little fun for me to draw mostly because I gave it a unicorn horn. Well, multiple unicorn horns that run down its neck like a punk rock star hairdo. Based on an interesting blue bee called the Cloak and Dagger bee, we have the Seawing. I drew this one to be a little chubby with a biggish face. They were also given a hood cloak thing based on the bee's name. I think I accidentally made them look like they ate a bee, but at least it's on theme. Please don't call them bee eater, I will implode. Next is the Skywing, who was based on a red paper wasp. They were given a long and narrow face with horns that I intended to be a little feathery like bird wings, but instead vaguely look like bug legs, which also works too. The Mudwing was based on the fuzzy tawny mining bee. I drew this design's horns with divots in them to kind of resemble fluff. Similarly, they were given random spikes along their neck and back to mimic the same thing. Finally, the Sandwing was based on a cactus bee. Their horns were given a similar fuzzy look to the Mudwings to mimic fur again. The eyebrows were a little squarer to mimic the bee's eyes, and I generally aimed to give them a somewhat wide body. Starting with the coloring, we're back to the Leafwing. They were given pale green colors with a light yellow underbelly. The stripes they were given were supposed to look like roots or branches. Picking colors for the Silkwing was a little tricky. I originally wanted to make them mostly yellow, but still implement colors from their inspiration. Ultimately, they were given a metallic aqua back and a yellow base color, with dark blue and orange wavy stripes. Initially, the Nightwing's colors were supposed to be warm-toned, but along the way I favored a greenish tint over the original plan. They were given a thick yellow stripe along their side, which splits into zigzags along their back. The Rainwing was given a very special color pattern, as it's the only one out of all the hybrids to heavily rely on gradients. They were given a back that faded from blue to teal, and a base color that faded from dark magenta to a red-orange. Later, I gave the gradients texture by giving it spots, or scales, whichever looks better. I also gave them black stripes along their body to bring all the colors together. Originally, the Icewing was given a burnt red-orange body, intending it to be mostly Hivewing. I changed it up pretty quickly though because it wasn't really working in my opinion. Instead, I gave them a cream-colored body with red horns and accents. The Seawing was given 3 simple colors, black and blue for the body, and orange for their eyes. This has to be my favorite pattern out of all the Hivewings so far, mainly because of the fuzzy blue patches along their body. The Skywing was heavily based on the colors of their red paper wasp inspiration, even going so far as to give them the same patterns along their neck and back. Honestly, as I was coloring them, the colors were reminding me of something, but I couldn't narrow down what. The closest I can think of is Germany, but now I'm not so sure. The Mudwing was given a dark body with an orange-brown back, bordered with a bright yellow. They were given fuzzy yellow stripes along their back as well. Last but not least, the Sandwing was given pale yellow and tan colors, with brown wavy stripes. I later broke the stripes up a bit by putting a speckled pattern over it. And here it is, the Hivewing row complete. I didn't have time to mention this in the coloring stage, but they were all given transparent wings, at least on the ones where you can see their wings. Also, for those of you who were asking about the Discord server for the raffles in DTA, that will be released in the next video. So stay tuned and stuff. So yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see ya when I draw some butterfly dragons. Or should I say, be ya? Haha, that doesn't even make any sense. Buzz off. It's full of pollen, pollen tea. Sounds like a weird flavor.